Hello everyone, Twisted here. Now have you ever wondered why the animatronics always seem to return to the stage in FNAF 1, in FNAF 2? They suddenly forget that you're in the office and return to the stage. I mean, why? They clearly know you're in there, they bang on the door, and they could easily just camp out your position, spawn camp. Immediately I know what you're thinking, right? Oh, it's their programming, their animatronics, they return into the stage because they're programmed to. But then why do they immediately leave the stage again just to return to the office? So that isn't the reason. Because believe it or not, there is actually a hidden lore reason why they do that, and I'm going to expose that today. You might also be wondering why Glamrock Freddy's head is missing. Well, I'll explain that later too, because I've been reading the brand new book the week before, and in there, it thoroughly explains so many hidden details, secrets, and answers to questions we've been asking for a very long time. So today, my friends, I'm going to reveal the real reason why the animatronics always return to the stage. But immediately you might be asking the question, what is the week before, and is it even canon to the games? Well, there is a little disclaimer inside the book that it says it's intended to be canon to the games. And what it actually is an interactive novel where you read through the book and basically have your own adventure, and it will come to multiple endings. Just like the games, they have multiple endings too, right? And this book has the most lore which has ever come out about a game, and specifically the first game, over 10 years old. It's an absolute goldmine of lore, secrets, and everything about FNAF. Now, the book itself is a prequel to FNAF 1. It's obviously the week before, where we play as Phone Guy, and already we have a bit of information. His actual name, he's called Ralph. Not Mr. Afton, nothing like that, a guy called Ralph. That was literally revealed on the first page, so you can only imagine what else I found out in this book. It's also kind of annoying because I did a theory on the Phone Guy only last week, and the book basically came out and debunked most of that, but that's just the life of FNAF theorists. It literally confirms so many things. But we're here to talk about one thing today, and that's the reason why they return to the stage. Now, because immediately you'd think it's about their programming, because let's not forget, the kids' souls are inside of an animatronic after all. Their programming would play a part of it, because as we know, at 6 AM, they will return to the stage and stay there basically for the entirety of the day, until later on in the evening, where they leave the stage once more. Now, we know they all leave the stage at various intervals, and as we're flicking through the cameras, we see them leave the stage, we see them in the corridors, and then later on, see them on the stage again, indicating they've returned to the stage for whatever reason. Now, I'll be honest, I thought it may be that they go looking for the guard, know he's in the office, go there, doors are locked, they reset themselves. But that again doesn't seem right, because if they're convinced someone's in the security office and they can see you literally through the window, why did they just not wait and stay outside of the office for you to come out? I mean, I do know that they reset to a point, because obviously when you flash the flashlight at Foxy, by the way, and I recommend watching it after this. But that doesn't apply in this situation. We're literally sat in the office, they come to the office, they see us, but then return to the stage? Almost as if they're completely forgetting that you're in there. But then I started to think about it logically. These are animatronics, right? They're gonna need a power source for one, and that power source isn't gonna be indefinite. Let's look at Five Nights at Freddy's security breach, for example. The animatronics have to charge in a charging pod. Freddy only has a battery which will last an hour, because he has to have a recharge every hour, clearly telling us that they have a very limited battery for a specific reason, which I'll get onto later. And then I read this part from the book. It basically explains that on the show's stage, there's metal plates, and when the animatronics go onto these metal plates, they charge from them. So meaning every time they're on the stage, they are charging. Now, presumably, they don't fully charge the animatronics, or if they do, the animatronics only have a very limited amount of power stored within them. And believe it or not, there's a lore reason for this as well, because the animatronics are far more than meets the eye. They're extremely sentient, believe it or not, and can actually hatch plans, because in the book, we actually see them looking at the cameras when they're in the office. When the phone guy Ralph is hiding in the vent, he sees them cycle through the cameras looking for him. Now that tells us immediately that they're going off program. They're not following a directive, they're using their own initiative. And we kind of see a similar thing in the FNAF movie. So the fact that if people say they return to the stage because it's a program directive doesn't seem likely to me. And the reason they return into the stage is because they obviously need to keep themselves topped up with power, because they have a a very limited battery life, because believe it or not, they actually tried to escape in the book by overpowering their pads. They were siphoning power from the actual establishment into their pads and using that to move about in the night. Basically, overcharging their power plates on the stage to hold even more power so they could supercharge themselves. That then explains why there's power fluctuations throughout the entire duration of your shifts. You see, the more active the animatronics become, the more power they use. The more they return to the stage, the quicker it drains the battery. Hence why night 1, the power doesn't seem to drain as much, night 2 gets faster, night 3, so on. Because the animatronics are getting more aggressive, more active, they're draining more power from the pads. Because they need to return to the stage more frequently to keep themselves charged. It also explains why there's limited battery power every night. Because if they were fed a constant supply of power, the animatronics could literally overcharge and escape just like the book has told us. So Fazbear Entertainment decides to limit their charging capabilities because they knew they wanted to escape. It also then thoroughly explains the door issues, because obviously the doors fling open when there's no power. Immediately people think, well, if there's no power, heavy doors like that should fall to the ground because of gravity, right? Well, that's actually incorrect. It's actually a safety issue. I mean, during a fire and all the power goes out, big heavy doors would not seal. They use counterweights, and when the power goes out, they fling open. Hence why when the power goes out, the doors raise open, because the counterweights actually kick in and open the doors. It's a safety feature. Hence why when the power goes out, the doors open. So you see, the animatronics, when they get to the door, they're trying to work their way in, but will need to return to the stage because they need to recharge. Their batteries are just not designed to spend lots of time away from the stage. And this isn't me just plucking this theory out of the air. This is literally confirmed in the book. It's confirming lore we should have had 10 years ago. That's how important this book is. But we're not finished and done just there, my friends. Ooh, it's absolutely boiling in the office today. The sun is beaming through. I am sweating streams. Just like Freddy, he's so warm his head's come off.
Twisted animatronic, I can't feel my head.
Because we also have a reason for the "it's me" text. You know, in every game where you see "it's me" plastered everywhere from Golden Freddy, but not just him. The other animatronics also seem to say this, and "it's me" comes up in this book. And it basically outright confirms the reason why we see this, and it's not really what we think. You see, at one point in the book, during one of the endings, you're face to face with Freddy, and he is inches from your head. He leans down, and you wonder what it's like living without your frontal lobe. And a warped gargle voice says, "It's me," obviously coming from Freddy. Worth pointing out here, it didn't come from Golden Freddy, and there are several mentions throughout this book, other books, FNAF games, where the "it's me" text, voice, comes from several different animatronics, not just associated with Golden Freddy. But here's the real kicker and the really interesting part. In one of the endings, which is believed to be the canon ending, Ralph, aka Phone Guy, has been stuffed into a suit. Now, it's not clear what suit it is, but it could be implied to be the Golden Freddy suit. In his mind, he's thinking something really smells in this suit, like something decomposing, and then he realizes it's me. It's as if he forgot who he was for a second and realized it was his self inside of this animatronic, decomposing. That smell, it's him. It's me, he thought. He was now the animatronic. It's not as if he's thinking, hey, it's me, look at me. He's having a self-realization moment. It's him. He is the animatronic. Thus, all the other animatronics are probably seeing themselves, realizing they are the animatronics themselves. The animatronics are coming to a realization that it's them. They're seeing themselves as the animatronic. It's me. I'm the animatronic. It's almost as if it's a form of clarification. I thought that was a really interesting and clever way of bringing it full circle in this book, especially as it's all about FNAF 1. And the real reason they return to the stage isn't because of a programming bug or an error, or they simply forget. It's because they need that recharge from their metal pads. And from that, we then theorized everything else, and it all fits together perfectly in the puzzle. The power issues, the door, the reason they just get up and leave and return to the stage. It all makes sense now. But the one thing which doesn't make sense is, why is Foxy's Cove always out of order? And why has Freddy got his head off? Well, the Freddy situation is because I'm doing some work on his internals and maintenance. But the Foxy situation? Why is Foxy's Cove always out of order? Every iteration we always see is out of order, even in multiple locations. Even in one of the latest games, Into the Pit, Foxy's Cove was out of order. Why? Well, I have the answer right here, and I highly recommend that right now. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with a fellow FNAF theorist. And don't forget to subscribe for plenty more content like this coming up on the channel, with an extra special special thanks to the members on screen now, Lauren C, who's a Twisted one, and Penguin Lover 12, who's actually a Twisted Animatronic and Ultimate Theorist. Thanks guys, and thank you for watching till the very end. I'm Twisted Animatronic, stay safe out there, superstars.